Max Weber was one of the first to analyze in depth the transformations that modernity brought to social organization and human life. One of the central elements in his work is rationalization, a process by which society increasingly organizes itself according to technical, bureaucratic, and calculated principles. Rationalization, according to Weber, values efficiency as a fundamental criterion for decision-making and the organization of resources. This value of efficiency is essential to the functioning of modern society. With it, complex structures such as nation-states, large corporations, and legal systems can operate with precision, predictability, and order. However, Weber also realized that this process has a dark side, a latent danger that manifests itself when the search for efficiency no longer has limits and begins to dominate all aspects of life. Efficiency, when converted into an absolute value, can become an instrument of domination. Instead of serving human beings, it ends up imprisoning them, limiting their autonomy and freedom. This is Weber's great warning. Efficiency without limits can become an invisible prison, what he metaphorically called the Harborn iron cage.
Within this cage, people are not seen as complex, free human beings, but as functional cogs in a system that demands conformity, control, and mechanical repetition. Efficiency then ceases to be a tool for progress and becomes a force that restricts human potential, suppressing creativity, spontaneity, and a sense of purpose.
This reflection is particularly relevant when we observe the exponential growth of bureaucracy, rigid organizational structures, and the increasing use of technology in the management of social life. Weber, in his time, already sensed this danger, and his writings invite us to look critically at the hidden cost of efficiency. For Weber, bureaucracy is the ultimate expression of rationalization in modern society. Characterized by clear rules, defined hierarchy, specialization of functions, and impersonality, bureaucracy was created to maximize efficiency and ensure the orderly functioning of public and private institutions. Despite its effectiveness, Weber warned that bureaucracy has a profound cost. It can transform human beings into mere executors of functions, nullifying their individuality and reducing their freedom. Individuals within bureaucracy are forced to follow rigid rules, standardized procedures, and repetitive routines that leave little room for creativity and autonomy. This bureaucratic system is the basis of the famous metaphor of the iron cage, in which the advancement of efficiency imprisons the individual within an oppressive, invisible structure that is difficult to escape. Bureaucracy, despite being seen as synonymous with order and progress, can become a mechanism of domination that suffocates the soul and limits human development. The rigidity of bureaucracy creates an environment where critical thinking and personal initiative are discouraged, as the focus is on following rules and achieving standardized results. This process can lead to alienation and frustration, as people feel like they are interchangeable parts in a machine that values only efficiency. In the contemporary world, bureaucracy has expanded and become more sophisticated, especially with the use of digital technology, further intensifying control over people's lives. Weber, therefore, warns us of the dangers of excessive efficiency and the social and psychological consequences it entails. Max Weber coined the phrase iron cage to illustrate how the unbridled advance of rationality and efficiency creates an invisible prison that imprisons the individual. This metaphor encapsulates the hidden cost of the pursuit of limitless efficiency, the loss of human freedom and autonomy. Within this cage, rules, routines, and bureaucracies not only organize social life, but also shape people's behavior, thoughts, and emotions. The system demands conformity, predictability, and absolute control, leaving little room for spontaneity, creativity, or individual expression. Weber did not see this prison as something physical, but as an invisible structure that imposes itself on everyone, regardless of social class or position. Even those who have power within the system are subject to the same rigid rules that limit them. Technological advances, automation, and standardization intensify this condition. Today, algorithms and digital systems monitor and regulate actions in ways that Weber could never have imagined, expanding the cage to an even more complex and profound dimension. This invisible imprisonment generates a deep feeling of alienation, where the individual feels disconnected from his essence, his purpose, and even from other human beings. Efficiency, which should be a means to freedom, paradoxically becomes a mechanism of oppression. Extreme efficiency not only affects social structures, but also has a profound impact on people's mental health and well-being. Weber noted that the rigidity of bureaucratic systems and the pressure to continually deliver results create a stressful environment that can lead to emotional exhaustion and feelings of existential emptiness. Living in a system where every action must be calculated, measured, and adjusted to maximize productivity, individuals lose touch with their own will and desires. Mechanical routines and a lack of autonomy lead to what we might call psychological alienation, a distancing from one's own identity and the meaning of life. This alienation can lead to symptoms such as anxiety, depression, and a deep sense of dissatisfaction. What Weber calls the invisible prison not only limits the body, but imprisons the mind and spirit. The quest for efficiency thus becomes too heavy a burden to bear. When the value of efficiency outweighs the value of freedom and meaning, quality of life deteriorates, and human beings find themselves hostage to a system that exhausts them. One of the greatest dilemmas presented by Max Weber is the tension between efficiency and creativity. While efficiency seeks standardization, order, and predictability, creativity demands freedom, experimentation, and openness to the unpredictable. Within efficient bureaucratic and organizational systems, creativity is often stifled. Rigid rules and pressure to meet targets reduce an individual's ability to innovate and think outside the box.
Weber warned that by prioritizing efficiency above all else, we run the risk of losing the capacity for transformation and adaptation that characterizes humanity. Without creativity, progress becomes stagnant, and life loses its richness. This dilemma remains relevant in our modern societies, where the pursuit of productivity often overrides the human need to express individuality and generate new ideas.
With the rapid technological advances in recent decades, rationality and efficiency have gained powerful tools to expand. Digital technology, automation, and artificial intelligence have expanded the capacity for control, standardization, and monitoring, making Weber's iron cage even more complex and invisible. Efficiency has become not just a matter of rules and bureaucracy, but an algorithmic system that regulates behaviors, decisions, and even personal preferences. In many cases, technology determines the pace of life, reducing individuals' autonomy and shaping their choices. This scenario reinforces Weber's warning. Limitless efficiency can imprison human beings in a system that not only organizes, but also dominates and controls, compromising individual freedom at unprecedented levels. Faced with the risks of limitless efficiency, Max Weber invites us to critical reflection. It is not a question of rejecting progress or rationality, but of finding a balance that preserves freedom and humanity. Awareness of the dangers of bureaucracy and rationalization is the first step. We must value spaces that promote creativity, autonomy, and meaning, whether in art, philosophy, spirituality, or genuine human relationships. Furthermore, it is essential to rethink institutional structures so that efficiency does not become an end in itself, but a means for the integral development of the human being. Technology must be used ethically and thoughtfully, ensuring that it empowers and liberates, not imprisons. Weber's legacy is a warning that we should not sacrifice freedom and soul in the name of efficiency, always seeking a path where progress and humanity walk